He fired her for touching his safe. What he found inside made him fall to his knees and beg forgiveness. This is a true story that will shatter your heart. Jalen Morrison stood in his home office, staring at the safe embedded in the mahogany wall. His jaw tightened. The biometric lock screen showed something that made his blood run cold. Unauthorized fingerprint attempts. 3 of them. All from yesterday afternoon. He pulled out his phone and scrolled through the security footage. There she was. Rosa Delgado, his housekeeper of 6 months, standing in front of his safe at 2:47 p.m. Her wrinkled brown hand reached toward the scanner. She pressed her thumb against it. Once, twice, 3 times. Then she stepped back, looked around and walked away. Jalen's fingers trembled as he replayed the video. He'd trusted her. He'd let her into his home, into his space, while he worked 16-hour days building his AI startup into a $2 billion empire. And this was how she repaid him. "Mr. Morrison?" Rosa's soft voice came from the doorway. She held a feather duster in one hand and a bottle of wood polish in the other. Her gray hair was pulled back in a neat bun. She wore the same simple blue dress she wore every Tuesday. "Get in here." Jalen didn't look at her. He kept his eyes on his phone screen, watching her betrayal on loop. Rosa walked in slowly. Her orthopedic shoes squeaked against the hardwood floor. "Yes, sir. You want to tell me what you were doing yesterday?" He turned the phone toward her. "Or should I just call the police right now?" Rosa's face went pale. She looked at the screen, then at the safe, then down at her hand. The duster slipped from her fingers and hit the floor with a soft thud. I wasn't trying to steal nothing, Mr. Morrison." Her voice cracked. Her English always got worse when she was scared. "I promise you I wasn't." "Then what were you doing?" Jalen stepped closer. He was 6'3", and she barely reached his shoulder. "That safe contains everything. My passwords, my Bitcoin keys, legal documents worth millions. And you're in here trying to break into it." "No, sir, I would never. I have video evidence." His voice bounced off the walls. "Right there. Your fingerprints. On my safe." Rosa's eyes filled with tears. She didn't wipe them away. She just stood there, letting them roll down her weathered cheeks and drip onto her blue dress. Her lips moved like she was trying to speak, but no words came out. "I want you out." Jalen pointed toward the door. "Now. I'll mail you whatever I owe you. Leave your keys on the table." "Please, Mr. Morrison, if you just let me explain." "There's nothing to explain. I saw what I saw." He pulled out his wallet and threw $500 bills on his desk. "That's for this week. Now get out before I change my mind about calling the cops." Rosa looked at the money. She didn't touch it. Instead, she reached into her dress pocket and pulled out a key ring. 3 keys dangled from it. Front door, back door, office. She placed them on the desk next to the cash with shaking hands. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry you think this about me." Jalen turned his back to her. He heard her footsteps retreat, heard the front door open, heard it click shut. He listened to make sure her old Honda started in the driveway. Only when he heard the engine fade down the street did he let out the breath he'd been holding. He walked to the safe and pressed his thumb against the scanner. It beeped green. The heavy door swung open. Everything was still there. The hard drives, the document folders, the emergency cash. His mother's jewelry box that he kept meaning to sell but never did. Wait, there was something else. Tucked behind the jewelry box was a cream-colored envelope. He'd never seen it before. His name was written on the front in handwriting he recognized instantly. His throat closed up. "Mom." His hands shook as he pulled the envelope out. It was sealed. The paper was old, slightly yellowed at the edges. He turned it over. On the back, in the same handwriting, "Open this when you forget where you came from." Jalen sank into his leather desk chair. His mother had died 8 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. 3 months from diagnosis to funeral. He'd been so busy with his startup series of funding that he'd barely made it to the hospital in time to say goodbye. He slid his finger under the seal and ripped it open. Inside was a single sheet of notebook paper, folded in thirds. He unfolded it with trembling fingers. The letter was dated March 15, 2009. 16 years ago. He would have been 14. My dearest Jalen, it began. If you're reading this, I'm gone. And if you're reading this in the place I left it, you've become the successful man I always knew you'd be. But success can make us cruel. It can make us forget the people who loved us when we had nothing. So I'm going to tell you about someone you need to remember. Her name is Rosa Delgado. On June 3, 1993, she saved your life. Jalen stopped breathing. June 3, 1993. He was 6 months old. We were driving home from the grocery store, the letter continued. A drunk driver ran a red light on Highway 59 and hit us. Our car flipped 3 times and caught fire. I was knocked unconscious. You were screaming in your car seat. A woman appeared at my window. She smashed the glass with a rock. She pulled me out first, then went back for you even though the flames were spreading to the back seat. The car exploded 30 seconds after she got you out. The firefighters said another minute and we both would have died. That woman was Rosa Delgado. The paper crinkled in Jalen's grip. His vision blurred. I found her 6 months ago working at a hotel downtown. His mother's words continued. She didn't recognize me at first. She'd saved 4 people from accidents over the years. She didn't even remember our names. But I remembered her face. I hired her to clean my house. I never told her why. I just wanted to help her the way she helped us. I've been paying her double what she's worth and putting the extra in a savings account under your name. When I'm gone, take care of her, Jalen. She gave you life. Don't let her spend her final years struggling. The letter ended with, the safe code is your birthday. I'm leaving this here because I know you. You'll work yourself to death and forget everyone who mattered. Don't. Love, Mom. Jalen's phone buzzed. A text from his assistant. Board meeting in 30. He looked at the crumpled letter in his hands. Looked at the safe. Looked at the security footage frozen on his computer screen showing Rosa's hand reaching toward the scanner. She wasn't trying to break in. She was just touching it. The same way someone might touch a photo of a lost loved one. And he'd thrown her out like garbage. If this story is touching your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe. You won't believe what happens next. Don't miss the ending. Jalen grabbed his car keys and ran. His Porsche roared to life in the garage. He didn't care about the board meeting. Didn't care about the emails flooding his inbox. Didn't care about anything except finding Rosa and falling on his knees to beg her forgiveness. He drove to her address from the employment paperwork. 40 minutes across Houston to a neighborhood he'd never been to. Chain-link fences, cracked sidewalks, houses with peeling paint and barred windows. He pulled up to a small yellow house with a sagging porch. Her Honda wasn't in the driveway. Jalen knocked on the door. A teenage boy answered, wearing a Rockets jersey and holding a video game controller. Music blasted from inside. Is Rosa here? Jalen had to shout over the noise. Who? The kid looked confused. Rosa Delgado. She lives here. Nah, man. My family's been here 2 years. Don't know no Rosa. Jalen pulled out his phone and showed him the address from Rosa's file. The kid shrugged. That's this house, but like I said, we don't know her. Maybe she lived here before us. Jalen's stomach dropped. The address was fake. Or old. Either way, he had no idea where she actually lived. He got back in his car and called his head of security. Marcus, I need you to find someone. Rosa Delgado. Late 60s, Latina, was working as my housekeeper. I need an address, phone number, anything. Now. On it, boss. Jalen drove back toward his side of town, his mind racing. He tried to remember anything Rosa had mentioned about her life. She'd been quiet, private. She came in Tuesday through Friday, cleaned, and left. They'd barely spoken beyond good morning and have a nice day. What kind of person was he? She'd worked in his house for 6 months and he knew nothing about her. Didn't know if she had kids. Didn't know where she was from. Didn't know that she was the reason he was alive. His phone rang. Marcus, I found 3 Rosa Delgados in the Houston area. One's 22. One's 45. The third one is 67, but she doesn't have a current address on file. Last known residence was that yellow house you probably already checked. Before that, she was at a women's shelter on Billionaire. A shelter? Jalen's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Yeah. St. Catherine's. She stayed there for 8 months 2 years ago. That's the last official record I can find. No property ownership. No apartment leases. Her phone number from your employment file is disconnected. Jalen made a U-turn that made his tires squeal. Send me the shelter address. 20 minutes later, he was standing in the parking lot of St. Catherine's Women's Shelter, a low brick building with a cross on the front. Inside, it smelled like industrial cleaner and cafeteria food. A woman at the front desk looked up from her computer. Can I help you? I'm looking for Rosa Delgado. I'm her employer. It's urgent. The woman's expression hardened. We don't give out information about our residents or former residents. Please. I'm not trying to cause trouble. I just need to talk to her. It's important. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Jalen pulled out his wallet and put every bill he had on the desk. Almost $3,000. I'm not leaving until someone helps me find her. The woman stared at the money. Then at him. Wait here. She disappeared through a door. 5 minutes later, an older woman came out. She had kind eyes and gray streaks in her black hair. A name tag read, Sister Patricia. You're looking for Rosa? Her voice was gentle but firm. Yes, I was her employer. I made a terrible mistake and I need to apologize to her. Sister Patricia studied his face for a long moment. What kind of mistake? I accused her of something she didn't do. I fired her. And I just found out that she saved my life when I was a baby. Please. I just need to know where she is. Sister Patricia sighed. Rosa hasn't stayed here in 2 years. But she volunteers sometimes. Helps in the kitchen. I saw her yesterday morning. Do you have a phone number? An address? She doesn't have a phone. And she doesn't have a permanent address. She stays with different people from her church. Sometimes she sleeps in her car. Jalen felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. Her car? That old Honda? Yes. But I've been paying her $1,800 a week for 6 months. Where's all that money going? Sister Patricia's expression softened. You'd have to ask Rosa. But I can tell you she's been helping pay rent for 3 families from her church who were about to be evicted. She bought school supplies for kids in the neighborhood. She paid for someone's cancer treatment. Rosa doesn't keep money for herself. She never has. Jalen's legs almost gave out. He grabbed the edge of the desk to steady himself. Her church, he managed to say. Which church? Our Lady of Guadalupe. About 3 miles from here. They have evening service tonight at 6. Jalen looked at his Rolex. It was 4:30. He had 90 minutes. Thank you. He left the money on the desk. Use this for the shelter. Please. Sister Patricia smiled sadly. I'll pray you find her. And I'll pray you mean what you say. Jalen sat in his car in the church parking lot as the sun began to set. People started arriving for evening service. Families, elderly couples, young people in work uniforms. He watched every face, looking for her. Then he saw the Honda. Faded blue paint. Dent in the back bumper. It pulled into a spot 3 rows away. Rosa got out slowly, like her joints hurt. She wore a different dress now, a green one, but just as simple. Just as clean. She locked her car and walked toward the church entrance, her head down. Jalen jumped out of his Porsche and ran across the parking lot. Rosa! She turned. When she saw him, her whole body tensed like she was about to run. Please don't go. He stopped 10 feet away, breathing hard. Please. I need to talk to you. Mr. Morrison, I already told you, I wasn't trying to steal. I know. His voice broke. I know. I found the letter. From my mother. I know what you did. I know you saved my life. Rosa's eyes widened. Her hand went to her mouth. June 3, 1993. Highway 59. You pulled us out of a burning car. Tears were running down Jalen's face and he didn't care. You saved me and my mom and you never asked for anything. And I accused you of being a thief. I threw money at you like you were nothing. Mr. Morrison. My mother left that letter in the safe. She wanted me to find it. To remember. And you were touching the safe because of her, weren't you? Because you remembered her too. Rosa's tears came then, silent and steady. I cleaned that safe every day since she passed. Your mama, she showed me a picture once. Told me that safe was special to her because you gave it to her for Christmas. She said it made her feel like you were protecting her even when you were busy. So after she died I couldn't help myself. I would touch it and think about her. She was so kind to me. She never told me she knew about the accident. She just gave me a job when I had nothing. She saved my life too. Jalen closed the distance between them. He fell to his knees in the church parking lot, right there on the asphalt, and looked up at her. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I became exactly what my mother was afraid I'd become. Someone who forgot where he came from. Someone who forgot the people who loved him when he was nothing. Rosa put her weathered hand on his head, the way you'd comfort a child. Get up, Mijo. People are watching. I don't care. But he stood anyway, his expensive suit dusty from the ground. My mother was paying you extra. Putting money away for you. Did you know that? Rosa shook her head. There's $87,000 in an account with your name on it. And I'm adding to it. I'm buying you a house. A real house. Not a shelter. Not your car. Not other people's couches. A home. Mr. Morrison, I can't accept. Yes, you can. You gave me my life. The least I can do is give you the life you deserve. He pulled out his phone with shaking hands. There's a house for sale on Maple Street. 4 bedrooms. Garden in the back. It's in a good neighborhood. I'm buying it tomorrow and putting it in your name. And you're never cleaning another person's house again unless it's your own. Rosa was crying too hard to speak. She just shook her head over and over. My mother's jewelry, Jalen continued. It's yours. She would want you to have it. And I'm setting up a foundation in her name. For people like you. People who help others without asking for anything in return. You're going to help me run it. I don't know nothing about running a foundation. You know about helping people. That's all that matters. He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. I can't undo what I did. I can't take back the things I said. But I can spend the rest of my life trying to be the man my mother wanted me to be. The man you deserve to know. Will you let me try? Rosa reached up and touched his face, the same way she probably touched it when he was a screaming baby in a burning car. You were always that man, Mijo. You just forgot for a little while. We all forget sometimes. The church bells started ringing, calling people to service. Rosa took Jalen's hand. Come inside with me, she said softly. Say a prayer for your mama. Tell her you remembered. And so Jalen Morrison, Billionaire CEO, walked into a small church in Houston holding the hand of a woman who'd saved his life twice. Once from fire and once from himself. The evening light poured through the stained glass windows, painting everything gold. Outside in the parking lot, his Porsche sat next to her beat-up Honda. Inside, they knelt side by side in a wooden pew, 2 people who'd found their way back to what mattered. And for the first time in 8 years, Jalen Morrison cried for his mother and felt her forgiveness wash over him like rain. If this story moved you, if it made you think about the people you've forgotten or the kindness you've overlooked, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment telling me about someone who changed your life. I read every single one. New stories every week that will make you feel something real. See you in the next one.